Does internet porn know you're cheating on it?
Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we got a reaction video and it's from the Kingard. I've been meaning to do his content for a while and yeah, he hasn't really come out with many videos this past week. This video is about a week old. He has one that just came out, I think, a few hours ago at the time of me reacting to this. But yeah, this topic kind of intrigued me and I kind of wanted to cover this video. Yeah, everything I've seen from this guy is pretty good. He's a bit of a smaller channel, not as small as let's say Kung Fu Hot Dog, but yeah, guy's pretty good, at least from everything I've seen. So let's check this out because a lot of YouTubers are basically access media at this point. They take bribes, they take trips, etc., etc. So we'll see what he gets into, but just like a lot of people, I used to love Luke Stevens. As you can see here, he's the main face of this video right here. And, oof. The guy has talent, but he considerably shills for a lot of like companies and everything. And the people he collaborates with in the YouTube space are people who are known shills, like the bottom of the barrel. Think like worse than Yang Ye, and he might actually get into it. I hope he gets into Yang Ye because, wow, there's no one bigger than him, but Luke Stevens is getting up there. And I'm trying to think of at least one of the collaborators he used to work with, or still does. Oof. It's kind of driven out of the mind. I stopped watching like or seeing any videos. Yeah, let's just get into it. Maybe the video will remind me, and I'll let you guys know if I can think of any of those. But if you do see any collaborations that Luke Stevens does, they're pretty much guaranteed to be those people that are kind of like the bottom of the barrel that just regurgitate news, but they never put in their own opinion, and they kind of very much play it safe. They get advanced copies on a lot of games, and they're literally the access media of YouTube at this point, and it's hard to take any of those people serious. Anyways, let's get into this video. Talked enough. This is from the Kingard.
But specifically, I want to hone in on these two videos right here.
Right off. Let's start that right off the bat. Yang Ye, I knew it. You can't do it. And he did this. This is his video. It looks like when a YouTuber unlisted a hated review. Ooh, there's a lot wrong with Yang Ye. Let's just say there are a lot of controversies around him, especially he is such access media at this point, and he just regurgitates what's on Reddit, essentially. And I was someone who watched him when he first started out, and he was doing nothing but Metal Gear Solid videos, specifically the hype and lead up to Metal Gear Solid 5. He was great back then, and he had his own kind of taste and flair and his unique niche. But damn, he's full access now. He even works in the video game space. He does voice acting, and there's this whole controversy with that. He is not a good voice actor. Let me say that right now. I'm entitled to my opinion. Lots of other people are. He does not take criticism. He fits perfectly into the market of calling people out. Anyone who criticizes him, he throws a tantrum. Man, does he throw tantrums. He is a terrible human being, just like the rest of them. Don't go out and attack this guy, of course. I hate that I have to preface that, but I just put his videos on like mute or whatever YouTube calls it. You know, you just don't recommend his videos. That's one of the things I can criticize Asmongold for going into. He has never covered Yang Ye's many controversies, and he refuses to call him out. Lots of people have called out Yang Ye on his channel, and he's just like, oh, I don't know about that. But he never covers the videos or the controversies or the topics surrounding this. So Asmon has his faults. like I said, I have a love-hate with Asmongold, and when it comes to Yang Ye, he has a huge blind spot there. But yeah, let's get into it. As you see, there's also Angry Joe. Again, used to be amazing, but now he's kind of become a coward and a shill, and oof. Used to be great. One of the OGs. Slipped down a rabbit hole just like so many other people.
But specifically, I want to hone in on these two videos right here. I will probably end up doing another video like that at some point in time, but that's not all I'm going to be pumping out just because they did so well. The next videos you'll see from me are going to be in a more positive light.
Oh, and that echoing you hear in the video, that is actually part of the video. That's not my audio at all. It's, yeah, just thought I'd mention that.
If anything to say about it, I have.
I tried, guys. I tried. But Ubisoft just had to piss on our parade. The stunt Ubisoft pulled with their influencer marketing for Star Wars Outlaws makes Payday 3 look like child's play, to the point where people across
I forgot about
the
the Payday 3 thing.
bribery, waking up Critical Kingard like CGI Blade Eyes or The Undertaker. So buckle up and let's get into it. For some context on the issue first.
I love this guy's voice too. Like, some people are meant for, like, they have a good face for videos or a good, you know, voice for radio, as they say. This guy has both. He has this very common quality of him. I love his voice too. He has a good audio setup, and yeah, he has the perfect voice for radio. And yeah.
First, we all know modern Ubisoft is the McDonald's of gaming.
From now on, I just don't care.
Yep, nothing seemed to go right.
Huge marketing budgets for products that are mid at best and religiously stick to the same Krabby Patty formula with every release. We also know,
To be fair, Wildlands was a great game, and everyone can say it's one of Ubisoft's last great games. Hey, buddy. Dog's here. Wildlands was the perfect game of bridging the old school fans and casual fans, and it was wildly successful, and it grew over years. People loved that game, and I'm someone who doesn't even like milsims. That game was peak. The story was utter cringe, but the actual gameplay and the co-op, man, so much fun. And I really got into the milsim space with that, and I never do. Like, it pulled in me. And they did this amazing crossover with Predator, and you could get the Predator gear with like the what do you call it? The thermal imaging, and you put on the Predator mask, and you get like the distorted look and sound. Oh, I still have that on my main save. Oh man, so much love for that game.
know that gaming influencers and sponsored impressions for upcoming games go together like Logan Paul and animals being in danger. Influencers that don't resonate with fully functioning adults sell edible items to kids, YouTube coaches sell courses, and gaming channels
Oh, those
sell
stupid
impressions.
courses.
All of this just works.
I've said before, but games
YouTubers and their damn courses. At one point, I was gonna start like a health channel, and I might still do that at one point, but it's such an oversaturated market. But I guess reactions and video games are too. It's just, I feel kind of bad if I want to or have to do that at some point. Well, I shouldn't say have to, but if I feel like I have to because I have a background on being a runner, and I've had my ups and downs, but I love being healthy. I have a lot of education in that field, and it's just, man, the YouTube space is a real hit and miss when it comes to the health industry. There's just a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of like half truths, which is especially jarring. And damn, those health content creators and them in their damn courses. It's absolutely ridiculous.
sponsorships aren't inherently a bad thing, but how's it look when a channel built on condemning corporate apathy and literally prides itself on being skeptical?
Ooh, yeah. Luke Stevens, Yang Ye. They will constantly, that's another thing, especially Yang Ye, they will call out the industry on all these to make it look like they have some sort of legitimacy. But then like Yang Ye, the second he gets the least amount of criticism, he blows a gasket. Seriously, people, go check out those videos. There are a lot covering it. But this, if you've ever seen Yang Ye before, and I'm sure a lot of people have, he calls out these people, but the second he gets any criticism towards him, his meltdowns are crazy. Same with Angry Joe. He has his meltdowns. It's mostly like in the comments section and Twitter and stuff like that. The people he has clashed with, he's just, God. At one point, I would have loved to meet or like become a content creator like Angry Joe, but damn. Same with old school Jim Sterling. Like before he went off the rails, and when he did go off the rails, everyone kind of thought it was a joke. And that he was just, kind of doing his goofy bits, but then, we all know how that went. Yeah, Angry Joe and Jim Sterling, Luke Stevens, Yang Ye. It's like that Batman quote. You know the one. And man, these are people who used to be great. And you can still see that their love for content creation and their love of YouTube is still kind of there, but they don't have the heart anymore. They don't have the truth. They don't have the ability to just put themselves out there and just be themselves and have their own opinion and just be the people that they were and have fun. And I guess to a lesser extent, I would say James Rolfe is in the same category. Not quite as bad, though. He's not really a sellout. He's just getting older, and he's kind of lost touch with more of his like bubbly, energetic attitude. Maybe it's him getting older and him being a dad, but I kind of put him in a different category. But yeah, that's generally how I feel.
Turns around to give positive impressions that start with something like,
now Ubisoft very generously flew me and my editor Jacob out to Ubisoft Forward. Thank you to Ubisoft for sponsoring this video.
Look at those down votes.
Will be in the description box below or in the pinned comment. You can check it out there.
Throughout this video, I'm gonna say sponsored
Ooh.
videos, but I won't just be
I do not know this YouTuber, but look at that dislike ratio.
Referring to when content creators were directly given money. I'll also be referring to when an impressions video drops right after a free work trip. Because we're not stupid, that counts as payment. If you're wondering why I keep putting Dr. Evil on impressions, we'll get to that in a bit.
Even those types of people who don't have the articulate thoughts or words to put it into perspective, every human being is capable of pattern recognition. Sometimes we just can't put the finger on something and we just know that this doesn't feel right or this person isn't being honest. And it's just, that's how I feel about all the content creators that I've listed. I mean, I actually have words and evidence and videos and other things I can point to, but even when you can't, people know, and they start to move away from these people. And that's why these people have stagnant growth on their channels and why they've even lost it over time. They're not the people who we grew up with and loved in the YouTube space. It's just sad to see, I guess. It doesn't really make me upset or angry. It's disappointing. I miss when these guys were good and they put out quality content, especially ones like James Rolfe and Angry Joe. Again, two separate categories, but again, there's nothing like classic AVGN or classic Angry Joe reviews. There's nothing quite like them, and sadly, they don't put out the same content as they do, which reminds me, I constantly remind him, I never hear anything back. Of course, I'm just one commenter amongst millions. James Rolfe, please, for the love of God, bring back board games. Board games are bigger than ever. It's something you haven't touched. You've brought back the whole bullshit videos, but damn, I guess he would kind of need to have that love like he had, like I was talking about like he used to, or maybe the energy. And the guys who made it great are no longer with him, like Mike and what's the other guy's name? The other goofy guy that was in there in Board James. I can't think of his names. Boozy. It was some weird name, but yeah, those were some of the best videos that Cinemassacre has ever put out, in my opinion. And I'm not a big board game guy, but Board James was just peak AVGN. And man, you need to bring it back, James. Seriously.
Emerges from this marketing cocoon is an onslaught of videos, tweets, and articles praising Ubisoft's Star Wars Outlaws before its release. The directly sponsored videos didn't tend to say anything alarmingly negative and were generally front-loaded with the positives of the game. You know, when statistically speaking, most people are still tuned into the video, and that's not by accident. Neither is the pre-order link in the description. When we first got hit with all these sponsored impressions at once, honestly, I don't remember seeing a single negative one at the time. In fact, there were so many people involved with this, no matter who we talk about in this video, no matter who I put in the thumbnail, there's still plenty more. And not all of them got the same deal from Ubisoft. And technically Disney, let's not forget who George sold that sweet Star Wars IP to. I will say some of these promotional videos look a lot more harmless than others. Like Mr. Matty Plays says he got to see early.
Mr. Matty Plays. That was like one of the guys that I was trying to think of that Luke Stevens does collaborations with. Same with that Dreamcast guy. And there's one specifically other guy. I think his channel starts with like a J or something. And man, very bottom of the barrel, regurgitating YouTubers that just make the same video over and over and over. And usually their videos too are like a week or more late. So they're never on top of things. And the odd time they are, the exact structure and everything follows to a T of what someone else has put out. They just bottom of the barrel. Nothing else describes them more.
Footage, but it doesn't look like his preview video was sponsored. G-Man Lives got exclusive access, but the promotional video...
G-Man Lives. I could see that. His videos are very hit and miss. I think he's done some sponsorships and gotten some early copies. Like, I think he has a very strong opinion on things. I don't necessarily know that he or think that he's necessarily one of those bad YouTubers. He has opinions that don't resonate with everybody, but his videos aren't constantly hit and miss. They're generally, I think, more well received than some of these other guys.
That he posted, took down after the backlash, then reposted again, wasn't financially sponsored by Ubisoft. He says all that Ubisoft gave him was a cup of coffee.
Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
But some of them look like they do deserve more scrutiny, which we'll be serving up today.
Okay, so yes, he subtly commented there that G-Man's not quite like the others, and some of them require more scrutiny, as he said. Let's get into it.
Luke Stevens had a sponsored preview, but he says he didn't get to go to the blatantly unethical trip that we'll talk about in this video.
I did not get to go to any of that. I didn't. So I didn't.
There was that other clip just saying, though, that he and his editor were flown out. Okay.
To go on any cool trips, just in case anybody's wondering.
Well, unless the two videos that he posted on the same day, in the same hotel room, wearing the same shirt are just an AI hoax, it looks like he...
Complete and utter shill. Like, the guy just lacks that... Oh, it hurts to see that. Not on like a personal level. It's just, man, have some self-respect.
He did, in fact, go on a cool trip with some good old access journalism for both Assassin's Creed Shadows and Star Wars Outlaws at the same time.
Okay, so we just got back.
Oh, there it is. There it is. That's the content creator I was trying to think of, Jor Raptor. The definition of bottom of the barrel, like worse than Yongye, complete regurgitation. It's just feeds into all the hype. Big proponent of like pre-ordering and hyping up the next game and regurgitating all the news, and it's just, Ooh, I think he may be worse than Yang Ye.
and Star Wars Outlaws at the same time.
Okay, so we just got back from a pretty cool event from Ubisoft. Well, we just got back from playing Star Wars Outlaws, where they had drinks and snacks and a bunch of decorations, actual like swords and armor and stuff. I did not get to go on any cool trips.
Now, benefit of the doubt, which meant he didn't go on the specific
Exposed.
trip that we're about to mention, or maybe he just doesn't count the trip he went on because the main course was Assassin's Creed Shadows, while Outlaws was just the dessert. Either way though, congrats Luke. With all this promotion money from Ubisoft, he will probably make more money from these games than they will this year. Get that bag, man. What's true for one person's deal might not be true for another, so don't go harassing anyone on behalf of this video.
Yeah, of course not. The best thing you can do, just like most people have been doing, their numbers tank, their subscriptions tank, just hit that button, you hit the 3 dots, and don't show this channel anymore. Get it off your YouTube, get it out of your mind. Move on. There are better things to do, better things to think about.
It's their comment sections, not airport.
And as I just covered in one of the news articles I just read, people are so pressed for time. Don't waste your time with these types of channels. Just go get an honest opinion. I'm not saying watch me. Go watch King Red. His channel's great, as you'll see and have been seeing. He makes good content.
Don't have to announce departures. But why is this being called bribery though? Is it that hard to believe that all these content creators just...
Yeah, you don't need a big sack of... I've covered this before, but you don't need to be caught with a big sack of money in your hand to say that you've been bribed. And this is a big thing that like people from IGN and stuff be like, well, we weren't bribed. Have you ever caught me with like a bushel of money coming out of a review or from these conferences? It's like, no, dude, you got a free trip. You got a free game code. And like one that instantly springs to mind is Greg Miller. And oh, he's bought and paid for. Everyone knows he's from IGN. Everybody. And yeah, his was it the PS4 coverage? He refused to review it because he didn't get a free console of the PS4. Complete man-child, like no integrity whatsoever. But you know, he worked for IGN. What do you expect? That just kind of came to mind.
enjoyed their time with the game and had positive...
And he was one of those people that literally came out and said, "Well, you've never seen me come out with a big bag of money. Like, you never seen me come out with a big, like, $10,000 check from these companies, yada, yada, yada." It's just, the guy's a complete shell. Everybody knows that. You worked at IGN, dude. Don't act all high and mighty. People aren't that stupid. It's the pattern recognition again. Even if they can't put it into words, they know what you're all about.
things to say about it?
Yes.
Wait till you see what kind of deals they got. In June of 2024, Ubisoft flew a bunch of content creators out to California to give them exclusive previews of the then upcoming Star Wars Outlaws, Assassin's Creed Shadows, or both. A vacation that probably would have cost people thousands of dollars had they paid for it on their own dime, but no,
Oh, yeah.
Don't let that factor into your opinions on the game.
Anything Disney related is out of control now too, so definitely thousands of dollars.
Be unbiased. It's just a vacation. One of them actually did try to be unbiased, and we'll see what happened to him in a bit. Not only did these people get flown out to California, some of them, like streamer Chewy, were
Chewy, don't know him.
Tour of Disneyland and Galaxy's Edge.
1.7
Disneyland?
Wait.
Even a
VIP
million followers.
tour of Disneyland.
I'm so out of the loop on some of these guys.
Disneyland? F***ing Disneyland?
You and I, we're going to Disneyland.
Hey, this
I kind of covered them before too, but Clownfish is great for Disney news. Ever since the pandemic, like every single month or two, they've been raising the prices like crazy. They've always been crazy, but the food costs, the entry fee, everything is out of this world now. Like, they are just targeting the biggest whales, biggest, richest people, the literal 1% now. Families can no longer afford to go there. The prices are insane. Was it like $25 American or something for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Are you fucking crazy? That boggles my mind. Who goes to these places anymore? Have some self-respect. Go to Universal Studios, people. Like, I've always been someone who said that, but wow, just do not support Disney. Prices are out of control.
Trip's great and all, but when do I get to play Star Wars Outlaws? Hey, now just enjoy the ride. After this, we'll take you to go make lightsabers with Star Wars HQ. You'll remember this when you're writing your impressions video, right? I'm just kidding. Be unbiased.
Of course.
Ubisoft also took some of these influencers whale watching. No, not the 10% of players that are actively making gaming worse for the rest of us. Actual, real whales.
To start off our adventure in LA, we went on a boat tour. So it was originally a whale tour to see if we could spot any whales, but we saw hundreds of dolphins. It was such a magical experience.
But I still don't...
And just look at this. This person has, I've never heard of them, but 77.7K subscribers. Think about how much money is wasted and how small these channels are in like the grand scheme of things. It's Ubisoft does not make smart choices. We know that, but this is crazy that they're flying out these people so low on the totem pole. It's just, I understand people like Yang Ye and Luke Stevens. They have a ton of subscribers, tons of people that still watch them. It's just, it's crazy.
Don't see the bribery.
So much wasted
Louise
money.
Julie denied getting paid and, quote, there's no shilling or agendas involved.
Bullshit.
Okay. Did you tweet that from your Disney resort balcony? I'm no attorney, so I won't speak to the legal definition of bribery, so if you're coming to me for that, you're just wrong. But Monkey Brain Kingard understands the concept of, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. To make this a little more clear, let's look at a little thing called journalistic integrity. I know these influencers aren't...
Doesn't exist in the gaming space anymore. Barely exists in the news space.
aren't technically journalists, but if we look past the terminology for a second...
And you know it doesn't exist because all these places have the same opinion over and over and over and over. No one contradicts each other and no one calls each other out. If you find a place that actually does that and holds people accountable, you know you've got a gem on your hand, or at least someone worth paying attention to.
Second, and just look at the principle of sharing news and information to an audience, the issue with this situation will be undeniable. The Society of Professional Journalists Code of Ethics states that journalistic institutions must act independently by avoiding...
Do they even teach this stuff at school anymore? Let alone, I know the journalists, quote unquote, that they hire, a lot of them are just bloggers that haven't went to school, but do they even teach this stuff at journalism school anymore? Because at one point when I was young, I was considering a field in journalism, but I am so glad I never went down that road. And it's just, oof. Yeah, I don't think they teach this anymore. And even if they do, these people do not abide by any of this.
Conflicts of interest and disclosing unavoidable conflicts of interest. Well, these influencers who are not journalists do disclose their sponsorships, so that's good, right?
Yes.
But
only forced by YouTube's hand, to be honest.
It goes on. Refuse gifts, favors, fees, free travel, and special treatment, and avoid political and other outside activities.
They would definitely not disclose it if they didn't have to, trust me. Especially the likes of Luke Stevens and Yang Ye and Jor Raptor and all these other guys.
Activities that may compromise integrity or impartiality, or may damage credibility. Deny favored treatment to advertisers, donors, or any other special interests, and resist internal and external pressure to influence coverage.
Boat tour.
Drinks and snacks.
VIP tour of Disney.
You know, and the sad part is when you get this big, there's kind of that, not conflict, but let's take Angry Joe, for example. He's huge. He's made a lot of money off the gaming space. There's no reason that he should ever, ever, ever get free game keys, ask for them. He should always refuse. He should have enough money in his bank, and this goes across the board, big or small guys, He should be able to support his own business. He should never, ever accept game keys. He should be buying all his games, all his consoles, and I'm sure he still does, but he does eventually at some points get free game keys. Who is it? I think it's ACG. I have my ups and downs with that guy too, but I think he's the one I'm thinking of where if he gets sent a code, he buys one or even like 3 multiple codes to give out to people. So he is still technically putting in his own money for the product. So you got to respect the guy for that. And I wish more people did that, because people like Angry Joe, no, they don't even spend their own money sometimes to get these products. And it's hard to take any of them seriously. If your business is that big, especially on YouTube, you've been going a long time, dude, just cough up the 50, 60, 70 bucks for the game. You're going to get that back in like, 10 minutes of streaming on Twitch with all your subs and your, like, what are they called? Bits. You're going to make that back instantly. And these guys do. Just have some integrity.
Disneyland.
On a nice 2-hour flight over the Rocky Mountains.
We're going to Disneyland.
Thank you to Ubisoft for sponsoring this video.
Like I said, influencers aren't technically journalists, and it's a good thing too, otherwise they'd have to pay their own
And like I said, journalists aren't journalists. Most of the time, they're just bloggers now.
way to Disneyland, I guess. But I don't think anybody looking at these ethical principles can deny that these are good principles to have when you're in a position of sharing information with the public, especially information that might influence people's purchasing decisions. And yes, influencers influence people's purchasing decisions. If these kinds of sponsorships didn't work, companies wouldn't do it. Period.
The percentage that they work at, though, and the level that they work at it's debatable. And sure, some of them work, but you got to remember that these companies are not smart, especially Ubisoft. You really think that a company tanking this hard, and I'm not calling out the King Art here or anyone in particular. I'm just saying that people make these points all the time, but a lot of these companies are stupid. They're run by complete and utter morons, even in the financial department. Like, what is it? The Ubisoft financial director came out and said that we shouldn't be making games that people want us to make. It was I'm paraphrasing, but he was basically saying that it's not their responsibility to produce a product that people want. That's the whole point of capitalism. You sell a product that people want and you get their money. But that's how out of touch these guys are. So there's definitely an argument to be made that these companies do not have smart people running them. Sure, they might get some return of investment on this, but I'm not convinced. Most of these companies have no idea what the hell they're doing. I mean, most people in life don't know what the hell they're doing. That's just a sad fact of reality. We're all just trying to get through. Most of us, historically, throughout the years, it's a fake it or make it mentality. There are definitely professionals, of course, that are great in what they do, and they've built that talent up over the years. But the vast majority of people don't know what the hell they're doing, and that goes for companies too. I don't care how big they are. Just like advertising, it could be a lot better, is my point. And I do not think that most of these people in charge know what the hell they're doing, and they just waste way too much money on advertising and these type of bribes, and they do not lead to the ROI that is important.
Would you
that they should return on, like, with a much smarter person in that position? I think they're run horribly. Now, yeah, like I said, it does work to some degree, but no. These people are not smart. The vast majority of them aren't. I'm sure the people that are effective at their jobs is way, way less than 10% even.
Like to know who agrees with me that journalistic integrity has good guidelines to follow with promoting games? Ubisoft themselves. Right now, you can go to their website to read their publicly available code of conduct. Scroll down to the section for gifts and invitations. Sometimes gifts and invitations can be, or perceived as, an act of bribery or corruption intended to influence a decision in favor of Ubisoft, a third party, or an individual. They cannot be given.
Even if your intentions are pure, just the act of receiving a free product or being invited to these events, interacting with the developers themselves, even being allowed to have access media and given permission to have interviews with said people, it's going to skew you. You can't help it. Even if your intentions are pure, it's human nature. You're going to be a bit biased, whether it's your intention or not. So this is a load of bullshit.
Given or received at inappropriate times, such as during partner assessments or selections, negotiations, signing or renewal of contracts, or advantageous contractual clauses, etc. Do we think that when you're negotiating with a content creator to sign a contract for promoting your game, that might be an inappropriate time? Is it fair to say these gifts and invitations might possibly impact what they say in their impressions or review of your game?
Yes.
If the sole purpose of a review is to help inform someone's purchase, what happens when that review can no longer be trusted as unbiased?
That is the sole purpose for which I was born.
And there is that definite line. You have to kind of make up your mind in that point. As I said, even getting a free key, it's just, at this point, there's too many great content creators. And it's just not worth it. Forget these guys. Throw them out of your channel feed. Just don't listen to them. There's so many great channels out there you can find, big or small. It's a waste of time. Don't waste your time with it.
Well, I'll tell you what happens. That YouTuber we subscribe to because we like the opinions and quirks that make up their personality.
Also, another thing, even if you like someone's opinion, it's okay to form your own, to go against it, and it's also okay to subscribe and watch stuff that you don't agree with, which is a big thing of contention nowadays. Everyone puts themselves in bubbles. It doesn't matter whether it's on one side or the other or even in the middle. It's just watch stuff that you do not enjoy once in a while, at least. Watch stuff you don't agree with. If you can't openly have a debate with those people, just debate it in your mind, or challenge yourself. If you really think you have strong convictions or strong opinions about something, a video having opinions that you don't agree with won't change that. Basically, I'm just saying, challenge yourself. Don't seclude yourself to a bubble. Yes, you can ignore the videos, like I said, but if you see anyone new and you like them, then they say something you don't agree with, don't just brush them off. Don't just ignore them. Don't take them off your feed. Watching their content. They're probably honest guys or girls. It's hard to find those people. And we all have friends or family that we don't agree with time to time. It's good to have that contrast, and just, you don't have to surround yourself with people or views or videos that completely you agree with. So, I don't know. That's just my little piece of advice.
They're not a person anymore.
And no, that's not an endorsement to go, watch Yang Ye and all these guys. I'm talking about guys that actually have their own opinions that you may not agree with.
They're a platform, a marketing tool for an industry that doesn't respect us and nothing more. And if you have to ask how a free vacation, trip to Disneyland, exclusive access, early copy of the game, and, oh that's right, money, might influence what someone says about a game.
Why won't you wake up?
And I'm not out here saying all sponsorships are bad. Shoot, I've done one.
Traitor!
But not in a way that could be mixed in with my regular content and seem like, oh shucks, just another video from old Kingard. It wasn't a game. It was a desk. Does this look like a desk channel to you?
Yes.
I'm not a desk channel. I'm not an expert on desks, so don't just take my word for it.
To be fair, that looked like a pretty cool desk. It looked like, just that small glance of, the perfect hybrid of a sitting down desk and a standing desk, and I'm a big proponent of standing desks. Now I'm kind of interested in it. Like that's, I get intrigued by stuff like that, hybrid stuff that saves room and that you can customize. I'm all about customizing stuff and tinkering, and I'm kind of a guy's guy like that. It's just, I love it. I'm intrigued now by that desk.
Go check out their customer reviews for yourself. That's not remotely in the same league as channels like Luke Stevens that are almost exclusively, I tried this game and my review of this game. Oh, but the sponsorship isn't a review, you see. It's impressions. Take that! Right. And this isn't a hand, it's an appendage. And this isn't a dog, it's a canine. What is a review if not impressions of a game they played, and now they're sharing those impressions with their audience? Maybe it's not for the full game like a full-fledged review would be, but the whole point of the marketing push is to drive hype and pre-orders in that person's audience. Changing the semantics from review to impressions is, at best, just a tactic to deflect criticism.
And to be honest, I get what he's talking about here, and he's discerning the two, but there definitely is a clear-cut difference between impressions and reviews. And I think a lot of us, like when we actually think of impressions, we do think like first impressions and stuff like that. We're not going to go to these channels and look for it, but there is a distinction between the two, and impressions are not reviews. But again, it depends on the person talking. He's clearly talking about people that have no integrity. So take it for what you will. Not to plug in my own content too much, but I do have my first hour impressions of Batman VR. Those are actual impressions. I went in blind. I saw a couple trailers. I bought the game. I heard it was good aside from some bugs. I didn't know anything else about it. A big fan of the classic Arkham games. And my impressions go in blind, like right from the straight boot up menu, and just figuring everything out. Nothing cut. I don't think I cut a single thing. So from beginning to end, it's one chunk of content. You will get my first impressions, and just how I'm kind of involving myself in that. Yeah, not to plug in my content too much, but I'm saying from my personal perspective, if you want to come over to my channel and see a true first impressions, come see it. It's an hour long, first hour of the game. I have a second part. Don't worry about that. But first impressions do definitely have a place in the market. So yeah, if you have a chance, go check out my first impressions, maybe second part. My third part's out soon. And I have it's not top 10. It's like top 14 moments so far in my first 2 hours of the game. But let's get back to the video. Sorry about that. Bit of a tangent again. I go off on those once in a while.
Exception to this would be like how Jack Frags did his impression video. It's literally just him playing the game. No opinions, just gameplay. That's bad. I have a lot of opinions. I stop, I talk, I put in my own thing. I goof around a lot, especially VR. I always feel like a kid again. VR has rekindled a lot of my love for games. I feel like I'm that 10, 11, 12-year-old boy, gets home from school, plays a new game, and it's just this new experience. It expands your mind, and every game, even if it's not a sandbox, feels like a sandbox. I love it. Creators still exposing it to their audience, but they're not recommending it to their audience. I think that's a difference worth noting here. Dressing paid advertisements like a content creator's normal, sponsor-free videos is the big stinker here, and it feels like nobody with a large platform wants to speak out about this, or at least not very many. Rest in peace, Total Biscuit. The game...
Oh. Yeah, I had a lot to say about Total Biscuit back in the day. I loved and hated his content. Of course, this goes back to, watching stuff that you don't necessarily always agree with. Total Biscuit was one of those for mine, but damn did I respect that dude. And you can't deny on his influence in not only the YouTube space, but the game space in general, and even to a lesser degree, like journalism. And he was let's not get into it, but damn. I think we all miss this guy to a large degree, and it was disgusting after he passed away and all these journalists came out and just the awful things that they said. It's just, I respect the hell out of the guy. You can catch, I'm sorry if I'm butchering her name. It's like Gina. His wife, she still does some streaming, so go check her out on Twitch. She still streams quite consistently.
The gaming world truly didn't know how much it needed people like you.
She's no total biscuit, but damn, yeah. Go check her out, guys.
Shouts out to Yellow Flash and Asmongold for saying something too, so good on them. Maybe other large creators don't want to miss out on those opportunities, or they don't want to get in beef with other content creators. I don't know. Maybe a bit of both.
Objection!
But Kingard, that doesn't mean they were given lines to read. They still got to speak their minds. They said so.
Oh yeah? Let's look at what happened when
they have guidelines, though. You got to remember that. And when they don't have guidelines, you're a bit too harsh. You're a bit too earnest. You are not getting that next game key. You are not getting that next invite to the vacation. You are, sometimes it's not even blacklisted. It's like what I would call hush listed. It's behind the scenes blacklisted. You are not going to be given any more interviews or game keys or anything like that. So you can't be 100% honest.
When one content creator Ubisoft buttered up did not give a positive impression of Star Wars Outlaws. German YouTuber, oh, I'm gonna butcher this, Smite posted his Star Wars Outlaws impressions video. The video is not up anymore, but according to those who saw it, it looks like the video included the sponsor-approved push for people watching to pre-order the game, as sponsorships do, but there were two problems with this one. One, it looks like this channel has historically been anti-pre-order in the past. Probably didn't sit right with his audience. As it shouldn't. Hence the apology. It never should have been published. We don't want it on the channel. And sorry, you don't have to pre-order a game, of course. The second problem, the one that put this situation in the spotlight in the first place, is that they also said the entire video was thrown back to us, and an intermediary agency, not Ubisoft, asked for.
And that's how a lot of these places get away with it too. There's a third party that they outsource to, and this third party is the one that gives you the guidelines. So technically it's not the company telling you, and it's Ubisoft knows what they're doing. These other companies know what they're doing. It's everyone can recognize it. Again, pattern recognition. Everybody knows that you're involved indirectly, but you are involved. You are the ones who hired these people. We all know what you're doing. And these mediators definitely are the ones, like he's getting into, ask for the changes, but Ubisoft is the one who oversees them and hires them and uses them. They are 100% at fault as much as the people behind these companies. It's kind of obvious.
For a lot of changes, especially to the wording at the beginning. I'm sorry we didn't print more against it, but let ourselves be beaten wide open. Sorry for that. To review, it was required of the sponsor video to say something.
Every time I see these companies say, I'm sorry, I always think back of South Park. South Park is still so epic. I can't believe it's still relevant, but the I'm sorry, is it DP drilling for the oil episode? It was the Cthulhu multi-parter. Yeah, the I'm sorry, and the guy's on the rug, and he's naked, and he's like, I'm sorry. I just always think of that when it comes from the corporations, because no one buys it. It's just that image instantly comes to mind all the time.
Near the beginning, that the channel didn't want to say, either because they didn't agree with it or they knew their audience wouldn't like it, but they said it anyway for the sake of sponsorship terms. What normally goes at the beginning of these types of videos?
It seems like the team at Massive Entertainment have been working their butts off, and they might just have struck gold with this one. All of the links, if you want to check out Star Wars Outlaws, will be in the description box below. You can check it out there.
Now let's compare that to Eckhart's Ladder's impressions video, which was not financially sponsored, but it started out like this.
Before Zach starts though, I do just want to give a bit of sage advice. Don't pre-order video games. We saw this with Jedi Survivor. You're opening yourself up to paying.
There's also no reason to pre-order. People say, oh, you could just get your money back. It's just, your money has to change hands. And if it's a platform you like Steam, technically they lose money because of the chargebacks. The money, yeah, is out of your hands when it could just be in investments, making money, or, you know, you could be putting it in your savings. It's just have some patience, people. Wait for release, see what's said. If you're still interested, then get it. But we live in a digital age, and even physical copies, you're not going to run out because of the mix of digital and physical if you're on console. It's just, have some patience, people. Have some self-respect. I don't care if there's returns. There's zero reason to ever pre-order. With one exception, and that will be like content creators and the skeezy 3 to 5 day early access. Okay, if you want to get a leg up through that way, but you're not being sent a game key by the company just so that you can get you know, a lead on your content creation. Okay, that I kind of understand, but everyone else, come on, guys, grow up. Just keep the money in your bank. Get a few extra cents, put it into investments, do something responsible with it. Just do better. I hate that saying, but seriously, like, guys, there's zero reason to pre-order. Come on. We all know the pre-order stuff is released later, or it's not worth it, or both. It's just, don't pre-order. Come on.
At launch, whether technical issues, a game that's not good, whatever. Also, Zach's a professional and we try to be completely unbiased here, but his travel and lodging to California was covered, and that's always something to remember when watching these early preview videos.
Do not pre-order this game based solely on my video or any others you see of Star Wars Outlaws until the game comes out. And yes, Ubisoft covered our travel, but we were not paid to make this video.
I love Shiloh memes.
Access journalism is still objectively unethical, but I do think their video deserves some credit for opening with this strong of a warning. Do we think they could have said this if this video had been financially sponsored with a contract in place? Another YouTuber who didn't want to play by Ubisoft's rules was apparently Star Wars Theory.
Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us.
On stream, he said he was reached out to about promoting the game, but says that he told Ubisoft,
we were potentially going to do something. I gave them an exorbitant amount of money. I was like, well, you need to give me this, and look, like there's going to be a ton of things in the contract that will not bind me to any sort of tailoring of what I need to or don't need to say about this game. If it's complete, I'm going to be totally candid about that.
Shocking to absolutely no one, no contract was signed after that. Have we cracked the code yet, people? Star Wars Theory could just be blacklisted from everything Disney by now, I have no idea. But other channels said that they told Ubisoft the same thing and they still got a sponsorship.
Okay, as long as I'm allowed to say whatever I want to say.
It's also, with some of these companies and in some of these situations, it's not just what you say, it's how you say it. Especially these days, the people in these companies are so soft. And I hate to use the word snowflakes, but that's what they are. If you say things the wrong way with the wrong tone, you will be blacklisted, even if it's identical to what someone else says. It's that ridiculous. So that's another thing to watch out for. And Luke Stevens this is a big red flag with pattern recognition that you'll notice from him. He is too nice of a guy. I'm not saying he has to swear or anything, but he, even in his harshest opinions, he does not raise his voice. He's very, very mellow, and he's just monotone to a degree, and he's so soft. The guy is soft, and I mean that in the way that he speaks. I don't know him personally, but we can all see it. And like I said, you could say the exact same thing, but if you say it in the wrong way or in the wrong tone, these people in these companies, especially these days, get offended. So I 100% believe this. And maybe he'll go into that, but that's definitely, I could definitely see this being why this worked out the way it is, whereas one person got blacklisted and the other didn't.
and they put that in black and white in the contract. So I am contractually obligated to tell you everything I think, positive or negative.
I'm not calling these other people liars because I don't know they lied, but I am definitely saying that some influenceception probably happened here. The influencers were influenced to influence Jesus. The influencers were influenced so that they'd influence the people in their audience who are susceptible.
I was going to plug in my own content again, just say. I do some reactions of reactions, and sometimes it's a reaction of a reaction of a reaction. That's why these videos are called InSheepShaun. My mascot is, of course, a sheep, and that has lots of connotations to it, but also, you know, it's a play on Inception, and it's just, I don't know, it's my own thing. I try to play. I'm really into puns and just parodies, satire, that type of thing. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I like the Inception mention here.
To influence. Influenceception. Copyright pending.
I want a corner every time somebody says it.
And then, after thunderous applause from the influenced influencers, Star Wars Outlaws released. And oh brother, this guy stinks. Unlike my Payday 3 and Cyberpunk videos, Star Wars Outlaws released in an actually playable state?
Impossible. Perhaps the archives are incomplete.
Another thing I would want to quickly touch on before we finish this video is it kind of goes back to those people having all the money to buy their own game keys. These people tend to have, especially like the PC coverage, they have top of the line PCs. They can afford these PCs worth $2,000 to like $5,000 plus all the streaming equipment and the lighting and all that, but they don't buy their own damn keys. Like that just, ooh, doesn't that irritate anyone else? Like think about the thousands and thousands of business expenses and dollars that they spend. But you're telling me that they can't spring for a $50 to $70 game key? Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, get real.
If we're being fair, by all accounts, it doesn't appear to be a just terrible game as far as exploration and immersion goes, but the over-reliance on stealth, so bad they're having to patch it months after launch, bugs and glitches, repetitive gameplay, and face models on par with launch day Mass Effect Andromeda brought in heaps of rightly deserved criticism. People who paid for PS5 early access had to delete their saves and start over because
I forgot about that. Yeah, completely. What's the point of early access? You got the early access, you played, and it was basically a demo with progress you couldn't carry over because you had to restart anyways. Like,
no matter how
so incompetent. That's Ubisoft.
Times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? I love the young people.
Look at Ubisoft's stock prices. You can actually see a direct correlation with Star Wars Outlaws launching and their stock dive bombing. Maybe I'll do a video on Ubisoft clapping itself sometime soon. I don't know. Star Wars Outlaws is basically one of those designer cakes. Looks pretty sweet at times, but then you take a bite, you realize, oh, this is plastic. I shouldn't be eating this. Anywho, Ubisoft's massive marketing budget on this game, as stated by the CEO himself, disregarded the principles of journalistic integrity, disregarded Ubisoft's own code of conduct, and took advantage of audience trust in content creators to lead to accusations of bribery. And
no surprise there.
For those content creators, by the way, I don't care what they do with their channels. If they don't want to be in a video like this, maybe they shouldn't sign up to be a marketing tool of the type.
Yeah, that's another thing too. If you're going to put yourself out there, this goes for me too, you're going to get criticism. You're going to get featured. You have to be all okay with that. And it's just, you're almost everyone's going to get death threats. They're going to get doxing attempts, whatnot. It's like this all comes with the territory. And so these people like Yang Ye who throw literal tantrums over any backlash, especially if they're the types of people that on their channel, it's all about like calling these people and companies out. It's equal parts sad and equal parts hilarious that they're this pathetic and this thin-skinned. Just get over yourself, guys.
Types of games they claim to hate when they're...
You put yourself out in public. This is what's going to happen. You guys can comment, say anything you want about me. I've heard it It's nothing that I haven't told myself in the mirror 1,000 times. I don't care. Do whatever the hell you want. Leave whatever comments. I'm not going to delete anything. The most I'm going to do is I'm going to thank you for engaging with my content. My content's not going to be for everyone. I'm just starting out. I'm trying to grow, get better, but I'm not going to censor anyone. I don't care. I expect bad responses, good responses. And so far, the support has been overwhelming. It's been absolutely amazing, and I love you guys. But yeah, I'm not going to be surprised. I'm not going to take it the wrong way. I'm not going to take it to heart too much that I'm going to eventually get backlash. I'm going to eventually get death threats. I'm going to eventually probably get doxxed. All this bad stuff's going to happen to me. It's not going to surprise me. I'm prepared for it. As much as prepared as you can be. And I don't care. I got to take it on the chin. You got to learn to take things on the chin once in a while and just move on with your day. And I wish more of these people did that. I wish more of these people had the strength to move forward. And man, it's hard to see people like Angry Joe go down the toilet. That guy cannot take anything on the chin. Oof. And in terms of Yang Ye, I can literally call him a soy boy because that is not any type of defamation. He is a literal soy boy. He has done multiple sponsorships for soy milk, and it's absolutely hilarious. Go check it out if you haven't. It's so damn funny. The literal definition of a soy boy.
Not being paid.
But yeah, if you have anything to say about me, it's been said to me probably 1,000 times before, or it's something I've said to myself 1,000 times in the mirror. You can't surprise me. We all have our faults. I'm not perfect. I'm not an overly attractive guy. I've heard it all before. I'm not going to censor you dudes. So, or dudettes. Just put down your honest comments. I love you all for engaging, whether it's bad or good or criticism. I'm going to read it all. And yeah.
But I'm not interested in tearing down anyone's channel. This video is for you guys, the audience. I want to help as many people as possible see through the veil of these sponsored impressions and exclusive access trips. They're immoral, unethical, and they're designed to influence you through your favorite content creators that you trust. And to be clear, because some people don't seem to get it, I don't think these people sat down, played a trash game, and tried to pull a fast one on everybody by saying, oh, it's actually pretty good, nothing to see here.
Something that just came to mind too is that if you make your living off this kind of content, like let's say the video game space, like he's talking about, and you're constantly playing video games all day, you're editing, you're doing all that, experiences like these you think would stick out more. They would be more of like a sore thumb, and you would be, at least on an unbiased spectrum, much more likely to call it out. So when these people don't call it out, it's even more apparent, and it goes back to the pattern recognition again. You can see the dishonesty there, because these people, if anything, will be tired of these retreads and this gameplay that isn't unique and just blah, just regurgitated, especially with Ubisoft. So if you see any of these people not giving a true, honest, harsh opinion of that, these people play video games for a living. They make content off of it. They're not your everyday average guys like us that just like to sit down, relax after work, play a game. These bad experiences will stick out with them even more. So take that for what you will. Realize that these people are not your friends. They're not people to look up to. They're not people to take seriously. It sticks out so much. Do not take them seriously. They don't deserve it. These people should be, if anything, calling out these companies and these games even more because they make a living off of it, because they're constantly surrounded by video games, and that's all they do all day long is things tied with video games. So at the end of the day, these people should be calling out these companies and should be able to they should be at the top of their game, but they aren't.
If anything, they probably got to see the better parts of the game during their preview. The point is this: the next time you're watching your favorite gaming channel give their sponsored impressions on a game, just remember, you're watching a full-length advertisement. It doesn't matter if they say they got to say what they wanted to. It doesn't matter if they say they weren't influenced. We're human and so are they. Opinions given within sponsored videos should never be held with the same merit as opinions in non-sponsored videos.
Also, another good indication is, I'm not talking about this guy right here. I love your videos, and you're not covering what I'm about to say, but the way that people cut together videos, I get it. Some people are more comfortable with scripted videos. I'm sure I would be way more scripted, but all the content you see on my channel, if there is cuts, it's because there's and even then I leave in like big, long, awkward silences, but even then I try to keep my content straightforward, unedited, so you will get my real, honest opinion in the way that I talk, the way that I articulate. I do not like to do cuts. So maybe at some point I will do scripted content, but it'll just be, I don't know, I'll let you guys know. But I really wanted to be an unedited channel, and it's just bare my soul, so to speak. This is who I am. I'm being honest. I'm trying to work things through. Nothing scripted. And you'll see that in my VR content, especially. Like I'm a complete child and goofball when I get into the space, and that's why so many of my videos are long. I do not plan to have many edited videos, and if it is, like my last video, I haven't edited it yet, but I'm going to cut out the part where I took out my dog to go outside. Beyond that, you're not going to see many cuts in my videos. And I think that can really go a long way to showing people the honesty. And I'm not saying that automatically earns me some trust, but my point is that even little things like the editing in videos themselves, you can tell who's being honest and who's not. And I'm not talking about this guy. Of course, this is like a specific topic and scripted videos, but like for game impressions and stuff, pay close attention to the way things are edited, and it'll reveal a lot.
And the same principle goes for videos that weren't directly paid for, but the creator was still showered with, as Ubisoft puts it, gifts and invitations too. Should you try and burn someone's channel down for taking a deal like that? No, I don't think so. But if you have to debate with yourself on whether or not the person you're watching was bribed to give a good opinion, maybe that's a good sign the person you're watching shouldn't be factored into your purchasing decisions. Yeah. If you want to be an enlightened time traveler and check out that Ubisoft video from the future, click it right here. As always, thanks for watching. Carry on, you kings. I want to save a screenshot of this someday to remind myself how bad it could be. I could be on my knees with a Disney hat and a lightsaber. Why am I doing this?
Well, he's willing to humiliate himself. That also shows some amount of trust and just honesty. It's always good when you can humiliate yourself and put yourself out there in all your awkwardness and just, yeah. Anyways, I love this guy's videos. This was a great video. He makes really great content. He's still growing, pretty small subscriber base, but he's getting up there. Anyways, subscribe to this guy, like his videos, and yeah, thanks for all your support, guys. It's been great. I've gotten my first comments. I've gotten my first game impressions out. I've started making YouTube shorts. It's just, I know I'm at the start of my journey, but man, it doesn't matter. Leave me a comment. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Tell me what I'm doing great. Just say thank you, say hi, or don't say anything at all. Like, everything helps, and everybody's been so amazing. And I've even got a few shout outs already from some of the content creators. And it's just, I've only been doing this, a week and a half, 2 weeks. It's crazy. Thank you so much, guys. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. And again, thank you, Kingard. Great videos. Hope to cover you again in the future. All right. See ya.